When you think of the end, what comes to mind? For many of you, the thought that finds its way to the forefront of your conscious mind is death, the ultimate ending. This word, end, is defined as the final part of something, especially a period of time. Is it not ironic to find within the definition of end the word time? These two words seem to go together so naturally. End, time. So why, you may wonder, were we created with a limitation on the time we have here? Why must life end? We are given this gift, but with this darkness overshadowing it the entire time. This, of course, begs the question, if we had no limit on time, would time then even exist? Would life still be precious to us the way that it is now? What would we do? What would you do if you had unlimited time? Let us take a step back for a moment. We were contemplating the end. Of all the definitions for this word that I have found, there is one thing that I have not found among them. Nowhere does it say that when a thing ends, that it ceases to exist. This may seem like a strange thought, but keeping this in mind, let's consider in greater detail what exactly happens when we die, when our time ends. There are some of you who may believe that when we die, we enter into an afterlife, retaining our consciousness, and based on the lifestyle that we lived, we end up in either paradise or eternal damnation. Others believe that we are reincarnated and return to the realm of the living as another person or creature. And depending on how you live your life determines who or what you come back as. Still, others believe that when we die, nothing happens. Everything just goes black, and that's it. With that being said, I must point out that when it comes to matters of the spirit, the afterlife, even God, all we can do is speculate. None of us knows for sure. We can't know for sure. Regardless of how much faith we say we have. However, I believe that we can use the tools we have, such as logic, and what information we can know, such as the nature of the physical world, and we use them to make an educated guess at what's to come and the nature of the spiritual realm. Also, I think that we can likely, at the very least, come to understand the basics of it all. So with this being said, of all the aforementioned beliefs, I would like to propose that none of them are correct. I could cite a million reasons why for each, but would only likely need one or two in order to convince someone with an open mind that these things are clearly incorrect. Instead, allow me to propose an alternative perspective. Before I do, however, there are a few prerequisites that you need to understand. First and foremost, being that within our universe, the realm of the living, there is one supreme force which dictates the nature of all things and sustains all things. This force is none other than the unbendable, unbreakable laws of the universe. It has occurred to me that perhaps these laws are simply the mind of God. However, I cannot say for sure. What I do know is that these laws are the ultimate authority in the universe. For the purposes of this video, we need only focus on two of these laws. The first states that all things within the physical realm exist only in the light of their opposite and are defined by it. Take light and darkness, for example. If we lived in a world without darkness, if there was light behind every corner and under every rock, and no one knew darkness, light would no longer be acknowledged as something special. It would likely become more akin to something like the air that we breathe. We know it's there and that we need it, but we do not consciously acknowledge even the act of breathing. We just breathe mechanically. With this law in mind, what then of existence itself? Its opposite being non-existence. To answer this, we must usher in our second law of the universe. All things within the physical realm exist within a cycle or a season. The reason for this is, for one, because existence and non-existence cannot both be simultaneously. Therefore, there is a time for existence and a time for non-existence. Not to mention the value that limitations place on a thing, such as life. But wait, aren't we forgetting something? Is it not true that matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed? Well, believe it or not, and I know this may sound contradictory, but both of these points are true. Matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. All matter in the universe is forever, as is all energy. But how is this possible if the laws of the universe state that all things must end? This brings us back to where we began, with the simple word end. All things exist within a cycle. Before the universe began, it is said that all of the matter in the universe was together, compact within a super dense ball, and apparently under extreme pressure. This caused it to heat up more and more until, you guessed it, a great explosion occurred. This event is what ushered our universe into play, or into existence. Now, before I get into this, I just want to mention once again that this is only speculation, as is the entirety of this video, but as I see it, this superheated mass of matter must have been in some type of dormant state, much like that of potential energy. Potential energy is energy that exists within something but has not manifested itself yet. It exists, just not yet. So, this superheated mass before the Big Bang couldn't have officially existed because non-existence ruled. But there must have been the potential for it to exist, because based on the laws of the universe, non-existence must eventually give way to existence as its season comes to an end. Without getting too far down the rabbit hole, this is the best explanation I have come up with. So, with all of this being said, what then is the answer to our big question? What does it mean to end? What happens to us when we die? Allow me to give you one final analogy. If you take a log or a piece of wood and you place it on a fire, does the fire consume the log? Many of you would likely say that yes, of course it does. But what if we look at it a different way? What if we were to say the fire does not consume the log? The fire transforms it. What was once a log is now ash, but it still is. What was the end for the log was the beginning for the ash. So, in conclusion, we can now define our word end as simply this: change. All things must change, and change they shall. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I'll see you next time here on Mad World.
It's a very, very